Welcome to Contemplative Living, where we view contemplations for the week to have a better understanding of our spiritual paths. This is Contemplative Living with Dave Bennett, contemplations and reflective meditations. Welcome to another Contemplative Living podcast. And thanks for being here. I think I might have signed on a minute early, but that's okay. And join me every week. It'll be on Sundays from now on, pretty much, and because that works, it just works into my schedule a lot better. I was trying to do it Monday mornings, but so it'll be Sunday mornings, Eastern Time, 9:00 is when we'll be doing this. All right. So let's get into this week's contemplations, and if you're interested in the contemplations, as far as seeing them on a daily basis, you can go to either go to my Instagram or to my Facebook, and that way you'll be able to see them on a daily basis and put them into your daily practice. Before we get started with this one, though, I would like to, no, I don't want to leave the site. I would like to read something from Thomas Merton about contemplation. Excuse me. Contemplation means rest, suspension of activity, withdrawal into the mysterious interior solitude in which the soul is absorbed in the immense and fruitful silence of God, and learn something of the secret of his perfections, less by seeing than by fruitive love. Again, that was Thomas Merton. I think that's a beautiful expression of what contemplation is. And the first one that we have up here is, and we'll get rid of this. There we go. I will look to be kind and good-natured in an authentic way. A lot of times we allow the circumstances of life to kind of pull us off our center. And when that happens, we get swept up with the circumstances, and we get carried along. And sometimes when we're in that state, we put on these personas, these cloaks of how we want to be perceived. And we're not being honest with ourselves or with our friends and family when we have those personas or cloaks on. We need to take them off and walk in this world in an authentic way. And when we do that, we're tapping into our true nature, which is kind and is good-natured. And it's amazing when we can come from that, because we feel more at peace when we are kind and good-natured. That's kind of weird. Okay, sorry, having some technical issues here. But yeah, so I mean, we want to be at peace, and when we are centered, we are more acting from our true nature. And that is where our authentic self comes from. So I really like when Spirit gave me this one. It says, do not act authentically, be authentic. Allow the divine within to rise. Sometimes, this whole theme of being authentic, we can try to act that way, but we're just actors, and we're acting. We're not really allowing ourselves to just be authentic. And when we connect with our inner source, it rises up. It allows us to live from that center of our true nature, that love that's within us, and it allows us to we don't have to act. We can just be authentic. Um, I catch myself sometimes, it's like, I get swept up, but like I said earlier, get swept up with maybe something that's going on. And all of a sudden I'm find myself wearing one of these personas, it's like something that I generated maybe in my youth, and it's tagged along in my baggage, and it keeps getting put on, and I have to keep taking it off. But that's the thing. We need to just be authentic. And it's easy to get wrapped up in that, in some of our old baggage. It just gets carried along. It's like, gosh, I thought I got rid of that stuff a long time ago. But no, many times it's trailing back there behind us somewhere, and just won't go away, but it keeps coming up. So we have to keep dealing with it. But that's okay. I mean, that's part of what living life is really all about, right? So we keep trying to move ahead, keep trying to, we just keep plodding along as best we can, and allow ourselves to work from our true nature. So this one says, put our consciousness based reality to work to transform our world from the inside out. Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about. If we come from that authentic self, we're being authentic, then we're connecting to our higher consciousness. And that's more what this is. If you see you know, the guy's, kind of laid out here, but he's looking at this bright light that is his higher consciousness that is helping him because as we transform ourselves and work with our higher consciousness, anytime we're working with our higher consciousness, we're helping ourselves, we're building ourselves. And when that happens, it has to transfer into the world. Hi, Jenny. I'm glad you're tuned into what we're saying today. So if that consciousness, you know, and Jenny brought up resonated, if that consciousness, your higher consciousness is always going to resonate with you. And when you touch something that is a part of your consciousness, or maybe a synchronicity in life that comes along right at the right time, it brings us into that center. It brings us into that higher awareness, are trying to maintain a higher awareness above the circumstances allows us to make the decisions that we need to transform our world. So, yes, it is working from the inside out. And, a lot of times we don't see it. We really just don't see it. It's just what, but with time, and that's hindsight, we always seem to have some hindsight that, oh gosh, I was thinking about that a while ago and I put it into action. I really didn't see anything happen, but now all of a sudden it's unfolding and I can see it. That is really the way we kind of want life to unfold and allow it to move along. So it's nice when we can actually work that way. So when we're shown something new and vital, it always give thanks and authentic respect. So when we're shown something new and vital, you know, a lot of times we're given things are placed in our path, and we need to be respectful of that. When that happens, it's kind of cyclical. We need to continue the circle. When the universe provides something and places something in our path for us to see, to recognize, to work with, or to use, then we need to be thankful. We need to give thanks and be respectful of these gifts that sometimes just appear, and because and recognize that, I may not need that right now, but sure enough, somewhere down the path, someone is going to come along and it's going to be helpful because you've understood it, you've taken it in, and now you can share it. And you can share it and be the teacher maybe for someone else. And a lot of times this happens in very subtle ways. We don't even see it. But as long as we're living with that sense of giving thanks, of gratitude, we can it releases that circle. It really allows more to then come into our perception. So we kind of want to work with that because we want the universe to be applying things. We were talking a little while ago about, working with our higher consciousness and allowing that, because that can transform our world. But we also have to be grateful when the universe does provide some guidance, does provide a little helping hand here or there, or maybe just maybe an article will come across your feed in your stream or something like that. Hey, Jonathan, does this include challenges that may occur in your life? Yes, yes, we do. We want to be thankful, because a lot of times the challenges are what we grow. We grow from our challenges. And so, yeah, it's good to be grateful for the challenges, because once we've overcome them, and we can overcome our challenges, once we overcome them, then we become then the teacher of someone else who's going through that challenge. So again, it's that cyclical kind of nature that the universe tends to put us in. Sometimes it seems like we're in an endless circle, and and that's something that usually when we see that, we want to kind of break that. But yeah, we want to be aware. It's all about awareness. So this one's a little more fun, a little more lighthearted, not as heavy, but commit to greeting every moment today with passion and joy. If we could live from our joy, we would be like children with wonder and awe. And to live with that sense of wonder and to live with passion, to allow ourselves to be who we are. Because remember, we started out with a lot about authenticity and being authentic. And this follows in that suit, that living authentically, we're going to be living with peace and joy, and allow our passions to express ourselves. Contemplation brings that out for me. Um, the ability to be able to contemplate and connect with my true nature just brings up the passion. And then when I'm listening to a piece of music or I'm reading a piece of poetry, it has more life, it has more vitality. And so that's kind of what this meme is saying, is to commit today. Commit today to greeting every moment with your passion and your joy. It really helps. I mean, gosh, just in self-care, it helps so much to be to live from joy. I mean, it really has a lot of health benefits when you really think about it. So this one, circumstances are what they are, and we don't judge, because we this is something that is been a big thing in my life's path, is to work on judgment, to reduce judgment. So how do we do that? We discern. And one of the key discernments in life is this healthy for me? So Circumstances, we don't judge them as good or bad. And it's kind of interesting. This came up in a talk I gave this week in Roanoke, Virginia, that about, that was one of the questions that came, was about, how do you judge? And there was something that they wanted, how do you discern or judge something good or bad? And I said, I don't go to the good and bad so much anymore as I try to just accept that this is what is, and work from there. Okay, so this is what is. I'm not going to judge it as good or bad. Instead, I'm going to discern, is this healthy for me or not? And if it's not healthy, then is it in my power to change it? Now, that's a very stoic thought. That's something like Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius would say, you know, is this something that's within my power to change? And if it's not changeable by me, then should I distance myself from it? Can I distance myself from it? Can I just move myself away until I can be healthy again? Or is this a cause that I want to pick up and work for change? Do I want to build a coalition to make a change in these circumstances? Because maybe it's not helpful for my community, for my family, and I need to make this change. And we see this interacting in our world today. There's a lot that people see needs change, and they've picked up the cause. But the way to do this effectively is by building a coalition, by working together, by affecting change, by many people's contributions. And so a lot of times that's how change happens. First, it has to be recognized, not judged, just recognized. And that's how we can move forward in just our the way we live our life. So if we can see something and not judge it and discern whether it's healthy for me or not, and then also discern, is it within my power? Can I change it? But many times it's beyond our power to change. So then we have to step back. And it's okay to step back to a healthy distance. And if you still want to pick up this challenge or this circumstance and try to affect change, then you bring in all of the helpers you can, and you come together, and as a coalition you decide what's best to overcome these challenges. And so that's where we are right now. We are in a state of change. And so how can we help? How can we be the helpers to move forward? And this is a great example of how to approach that. Hey, Travis, good morning. Glad you're here. And so then the last one here today is, it comes back again. It comes back to authenticity. And how do we, so how do we keep our authenticity? Oh, boy, that was a tricky one. How do we keep that charged up? How do we keep the energy flowing? Well, when we make simple changes that allow our environment to, make simple changes that allow your environment to enhance your authenticity. So do simple things either in your environment, in your life, that help you to buoy up and support your authentic self, your true nature. There's a lot we can do. Now, here I have a nice, warm, out on the deck, a cup of coffee. And I salute those who drink coffee. I'm a coffee drinker myself. And but but and it's something that when I drink or eat or do something that feels right, it's like my heart goes, ah, and I can just, my body just feels that, ah. And when we get that, because we live in a physical world, we're living this physical life, and we need that in our life. And that allows us to then step forward. This is me. This is who I am. And we can recognize that. And and so, hey, Jake, good morning. And William, I'm glad you're here, and glad to hear your voices here. So it's really helpful when because we have to nurture ourselves. We have to give ourselves that nurturing essence so that we can move forward in a positive and an empowered way. And so I hope that's helpful. I hope everything we've said this week is helpful, and it helps you with your contemplations, gives you some things to think about, to mull around, because that's what contemplation is really all about. Um, I'll be back next week, next Sunday, and please follow and comment and share. That's really helpful for me if you share the podcast. And so, namaste. Thank you very much.